Now I take the opportunity to call Dr. Anil Bajpai sir for the keynote speech. As a Group Director, President Institution of Management and Research, Bhopal, India. This topic is the relevance of education.
My name is Dr. Anil Bajpai, and I quite resonate with the topic of today's deliberations. It's called Management, Science and Education. I am originally a science student, then I was a management graduate, in between engineering also. And currently I am in the education space. I head some institutions in Madhya Pradesh. I have had experience of living in Odisha also, with the KIT University and Jagadguru Prabhalu University. Having been over there and having had some idea about what's happening in the entire planet today, a big question rises in my mind, and that is the relevance of education. Now, education needs to be defined differently. We are talking about literacy, or are we talking about education? Are you aware that in the English language, we have teacher, maybe professor, a lecturer, a couple of differentiators? But what do they all mean? They all mean somebody who imparts knowledge. There is no scale, there is no gradation. Just look at the Sanskrit capability, the Vedic system, where the difference between an Adhyapak and an Acharya is completely different. It's important to know the difference between Adhyapak and Acharya. Pracharya, Pradhanacharya, all those things mean something. It means your grade is rising, and the knowledge that you're imparting is actually creating wisdom. It's creating and imparting knowledge which will be utilized for relevance in the world. Unfortunately, today's India is not doing that. It's not doing that at all. And I have no qualms in admitting that we have more than, how much? I think it's close to 50 lakh graduates every year. We have 1,000 universities. We have several times as many colleges. We have 50 lakh graduates coming out. How many of them are employable? How many of them can be utilized? And that is why we keep talking about bridging the skill gap. We keep talking about the industry-academia interface. We keep talking about what's needed for Indian education to be relevant. Let me tell you this, today's India is poised at a fantastic demographic dividend. We have close to, let me share some data. 25% of our population, we are 1.5 billion people, the highest population in the world today, 25% is below the age of 14, 7% is above the age of 65. I mean that 7%. Do you know that 68% of India is in the working or near working group? That's from 15 years to 64 years. And this 68%, out of which we have 50 lakh people coming out and graduating every year without being possible to be deployed anywhere gainfully. The skill gap is very, very critical. Let me congratulate the current government of India, which in the year 2020 came up with something called the National Education Policy 2020, which emphasizes on a couple of things. But most of us have missed the concept behind 2020. The 2020 had its ingraination in the fact that we want to go back to the Indian knowledge system. We want to go back to the Vedic method of educating people. We want to go back to the roots where Pythagoras was not the person who started the Pythagoras theorem. Geography, the word Copernicus did not declare it to be circular or spherical. Bhopal was always there in our Sanskrit texts. History was not written by people who came from the West. They have erased, the Western people have erased 1,000 years of India. They just erased it as if it didn't exist. And everybody claims 1,500 years before Christ was when the Indus Valley civilization lived. What on the earth is that? That's absolutely ridiculous. I implore all of you to go through the work of one author called Vedavir Arya. Vedavir Arya debunks the Christian era theory completely, and he gives you the fact that Raja Daksha, who was the father-in-law of Lord Shiva, lived 16,500 years ago. But these are astronomically challenged and proven with the position of stellar constellations. Now, this is what I mean by relevance of education. We have to create an era, we have to create a revolution, we have to create a method, a knowledge imparting system where all education is relevant, all research is relevant. It is not meant for publishing in a journal for nobody to read. Publishing should be for people to read, to people to create new knowledge, people to create knowledge that will make life better on this planet. We are systematically destroying the planet. We are creating sustainability issues. Every 30 years, every 40 years, the United Nations comes up with some kind of formula to say that, well, these are sustainability goals. The latest, which is being bandied around, are the 17 SDGs, which has climate as the top of the list. I'm sure the young students here have all got some idea about what climate is all about. We've been talking about water. We've been talking about shortage of water. The Third World War will be fought on water. That was something that I came to hear when I was a child like you all. Today, even 45 years later, I still don't see a world war happening because of water. Nature has made it possible for all of us to live, to be sustaining on the planet. A COVID appears and wipes out a large number of people because the planet was not sustainable. So nature will take care of many sustainability issues. But let me come back to the topic of how can we skill ourselves to manage something which is far in excess of what China does, far in excess of what the United States does. How many colleges do you think there are in India? There are 1,000 universities. Any guess on the number of institutions? More than 100,000. And do you know how many universities and colleges put together are there in China? Only 3,000. We have 50 lakh graduates every year. China produces 1.2 crore graduates every year. And Chinese graduates do not have any, or rather, dignity of labor is something which is very important in China. So, a graduate would be working as an operator of a machine in a factory. How many of you doing MBA would want to do that? We would all want air-conditioned cabins, fancy cars, chauffeured by somebody, for us. Let us for once resolve to ensure that there is dignity in every kind of work. We have to take this country far ahead. This dividend sitting right before us, Gorilla, right before me, this demographic dividend is there for creating a new India that will be the Vishnu Guru, and it will be the leader of the world. There is no doubt in my mind. If we follow the right methods and we follow the right principles, we will reach that definitely. We will reach the lost glory of Avantika, Nalanda, Takshila, all those universities which were coveted by the entire planet. Everybody from the world used to come and teach there or study there or do research. It was destroyed by invaders from the West. We will get back. There are a few things which I want to mention about management education, since I think many of us are related to management education here, right? We have over 2,000 colleges offering the BBA program and more than 5,000 colleges offering MBA program in our country. All this and the fee of MBA programs is pretty exorbitant in many places. It starts at maybe 50,000-60,000, goes up to many lakhs. Now, what is the outcome? Why are we studying, or why are you or me or any one of us, why are we studying these courses? Why are we enrolling, and why is that little huge beeline for a JEE exam or for a CAT exam? Why? What does that do to us? It gives me a seat in an IIM so that I can get a crore rupees of salary. Is that all that we need to do? That is where NEP will come in. It will come in a big way. It will come in to teach nationalism, to teach some sort of love for our country. If we do that, we will not have the brain drain that is happening. Do you know today, the best brains of India are migrating to the US? All Indian leaders today, and this is something that I am stating with a lot of angst in my mind, whether it is our foreign minister, Dr. Jaishankar, whether it is Gautam Adani, whether it is Mukesh Ambani, their children, grandchildren are migrating to the United States. They are citizens of another country. So, where is the hope? If my foreign minister does not have hope in this country and he puts his hope in the United States by putting his son in US, I'm sorry, that's not education. So the relevance of education, and here education means Indian knowledge system. Education means pride in my country. Education means pride in my family system. Education means what is the place where we were born? Are we going to improve that place, or are we going to destroy it and go away somewhere else? That is what we need to do. Somebody yesterday was remarking, you take corruption out of India and India is better than the US. How many of you agree with that? Just remove corruption from this country and we are the best. So, education means to build morality, to build integrity, to build honesty, to build all those things. That is the relevance I'm talking about. When I talk about relevance of education, I mean all this. I mean a patriotism, a nationalism, an honesty, an integrity. Not just the love of yoga. Yoga will come on its way. How many of you have seen this movie which Amir Khan had made, 3 Idiots? Raise your hand. Everyone seen 3 Idiots. तो उसमें क्या था एक कि किसके पीछे भागो तो दूसरा आपके पीछे भागेगा? Excellence के पीछे भागो, success will chase you. Right? So look at excellence. That is education. Don't look at success as the end game. Success will follow you. There is no two ways about it. So, I will not take too much time. We started a little late, and therefore I will conclude with just a little bit. And that little bit is, and this is for the record, I would like to suggest a few things for improving what I understand as education. I want government supports in form of financial or even non-financial way by way of permissions and relaxations in non-critical norms to be decided by people who matter rather than the government. I do not want the government to decide the fee to be charged. The future of education will see reforms at a rapid pace, with a central theme of making opportunities available to each and every desirous student. We are certain that the multiple regulatory bodies today and all education leaders, including President of President's College, he is aware and he shudders to think about AICTE, about UGC, about Higher Education Department, about XYZ, everybody who comes with a wedding vow, not a wedding vow, some other kind of vow, and stands before you because he wants to harass you. This sort of governance needs to go. This Prime Minister of ours, Honorable Narendra Modi, has time and again said, we want to have one national education regulator. All the other regulators should be stopped and there should be one common regulator. So that's my suggestion, to remove all regulation of the multiple variety and bring under one proposed regulator. The syllabi of every course in every university is so outdated that even today I am sure a physics student is studying about the tangent galvanometer, which probably is available only at the museum. Let's not stick by that. Syllabi needs to be improved and changed every year. How many of us here are aware of, what was that, DeepSeek? You read about DeepSeek last week? DeepSeek gave absolute GBs to ChatGPT, and Mr. Trump was hopping like a madman when China introduced the DeepSeek. So believe me, friends, and believe me, young friends here, हमारी जिंदगी तो निकल चुकी है. We have lived our lives, but you people cannot live your life without the knowledge of artificial intelligence, without understanding what is data management, without understanding DeepSeek and ChatGPT. So, even if it is not in your syllabus, please urge your teachers, urge your faculty, urge your principals and directors to introduce such a program. Without artificial intelligence, there is no future. And I'm not saying that artificial intelligence is any big devil in the whole pack of cards. Artificial intelligence is only how to manage data, how we can manipulate data, how we can do things with a large memory and handling of good data. So, with the final word I want to leave with you all in conclusion is that I would like to drive Indian higher education on three simple concepts: relevant education, industry-driven research, value-driven managers, and industry-ready graduates from all our institutions. And finally, I am personally available to anybody and everybody here for any guidance, any mentoring, any support that you may need. Thank you so much.